She has drawn a direct line between Brad Pitt allegedly abusing his kids violently with Ethan Klein still being allowed to make YouTube videos. 2 months, 3 months after finding Taylor Lorenz's content. Here are some interesting things that I found after talking to Madison. First of all, she pretty recently learned about Taylor Lorenz. And I'm not saying this is related, but I do think the timeline is interesting. So this is from 2 months ago, which is what? September? In September, this is what she had to say about Taylor Lorenz.
An interview conducted by the incredible journalist Taylor Lorenz.
Madison put out a video about Ashley Barnes, sorry. So she puts out this video of Ashley Barnes, and this is what she says in this video.
And also thanks to my new favorite creator and journalist, Taylor Lorenz. We need to talk about proposed internet-wide laws under the guise of child safety.
So late summer, it seems that Madison became a fan of Taylor Lorenz, and then she is in the Ashley Barnes video as well. As Madison would say, I think it's so interesting that she seems to have found out about Taylor in August, and then included her in a video again in September, and then all of a sudden, Madison has an opinion on Ethan Klein, when I'm not sure she's ever spoken about him before. But here she is having a totally normal opinion about Ethan Klein after meeting Taylor Lorenz 2 months earlier.
Angelina claimed that her ex-husband choked one of the children and struck another in the face,
Christ.
and then grabbed her head and shook her. Brad has maintained his innocence on that and said that none of that is true. I think it's insane that it hasn't got more coverage.
Yet Brad Pitt continues to act in major roles in Hollywood. He even compares Sydney Sweeney to someone like YouTuber Ethan Klein, who's said a lot of very controversial things recently, as well as over the many years that he's been a content creator, and who we may cover in the upcoming month. Ethan Klein is also still out there making content all the time. So is the stand.
So did you hear that? This is a complaint about Brad Pitt abusing his children, but he's still making movies. And she has drawn a direct line between Brad Pitt allegedly abusing his kids violently and still making movies with Ethan Klein still being allowed to make YouTube videos. 2 months, 3 months after meeting Taylor Lorenz or finding Taylor Lorenz's content.
Documents obtained by Page 6, and this was
Let's
back in
listen again.
2022. Angelina claimed that her ex-husband choked one of the children and struck another in the face, and then grabbed her head and shook her. Brad has maintained his innocence on that and said that none of that is true. I think it's insane that it hasn't got more coverage.
Yet Brad Pitt continues to act in major roles in Hollywood.
And the comparison she chooses 2.5 hours into this video for no fucking reason is Ethan Klein. Talk about a false equivalency. And yes, we get Fat Man Bad, of course.
In comparison,
and you know that was one of her editors.
Sydney Sweeney to someone like YouTuber Ethan Klein, who's said a lot of very controversial things recently, as well as over the many years that he's been a content creator, and who we may cover in the upcoming month. Ethan Klein.
Oh, so we get a little foreshadowing. So this was a multi video project shitting on Ethan. Here she compares him to an allegedly abusive father, expecting people should have the same outrage and reaction to Brad Pitt still being able to make movies, and Ethan Klein, the evil online man who can still make YouTube videos. And again, very interesting timing. That I don't believe that this woman has made comments about Ethan before last month. Right? This was a month ago? Yep, 1 month ago. Hasn't made a comment about him since last month. and happened to meet Taylor Lorenz like a month or two before that. Or at least find out who she was and start ingesting all of her content as her new favorite content creator. Am I a conspiracy theorist for thinking that's fucking weird? That all of a sudden this woman has a really specific opinion about Ethan Klein and just throws him in a video? Clearly the research for this other video was underway. So, I mean, my first question is, are these researchers also working for Taylor Lorenz? I know some people are like, oh, maybe it's Taylor Lorenz that's, doing her research for her. But the fact that she admitted her researchers work for somebody else, my question, I am wondering if they are sharing researchers. And again, this is a theory. It is not proven. If I was a snarker, I would just say it definitively. But the timing seems really weird. And we know that Taylor was one of the first people in her comments complimenting the video. She shared it almost immediately, right? Like she had eyes on this. She seemed obviously to have a vested interest in this to me. And I wonder if it's because her researchers were helpful in making the Ethan Klein video.
After party.
Thank you, Ellie. I don't think they believe what they say, Rachel. I think that they just don't care that they're lying about Ethan and Hila because they don't see them as human beings. I really do think that that's what it comes down to. I'm going to try to just make this a little bit bigger. Ooh. There we go. Oh, I guess I can kind of pull it out this way a little bit too. So yeah, that's like the main question I walk away from this with is, are Cruel World, Happy Mind, and Taylor Lorenz sharing researchers? That would make sense to me why she would be so scared to share who these people are. Not necessarily that I would or anyone would like dox them, but you don't want to disappoint someone you look up to. Like if I'm just looking at this very charitably, if she looks up to Taylor as a journalist, which is what she's said herself, if she sees her as some kind of a mentor, she doesn't want to lose that relationship and she doesn't want to overstep. And that there is this like, there just seems to be a fear, right? Of speaking ill of anybody who has worked on this project. And that just seems very strange to me as someone who was like running her own channel. Like, girl, you have over 650,000 subscribers. How many does Taylor have? Let's go look. 222,000. So you have like 3 times as many subscribers as her. And I love that she did This Is Bad to try to clickbait to make you think that she also thinks Hassan shocked his dog. But of course, that's not at all what it's about. So I don't know if Taylor credits her editors or researchers anywhere, but I think that's very interesting. As Madison would say, I don't know, it's just interesting that late this summer, so August, September, October, November, 3 months ago, she became aware of Taylor Lorenz and then mentioned her in a video, mentioned her in another video, and then a month ago is shitting on Ethan Klein out of nowhere, like deep into her video about Brad Pitt, about was it Ashley Barnes and just like Brad Pitt being abusive? And comparing an alleged abuser with Ethan Klein directly, like making a direct line between the two about like dangerous people that are still allowed to make content. Suddenly she has this very, very specific, serious opinion. And nobody does false equivalencies quite like Taylor Lorenz. So I would not be surprised at all if they share a researcher or two. I don't know. Maybe it's interesting. Maybe it's interesting.